بنبسط اقعد انا وياك. رح نحكي بالانجليزي، رح نحكي
أهلا
بالعربي،
وسهلا.
انت بتقرر.
أهلا وسهلا فيك.
بحب كثير اقعد انا وياك لانه بنتعلم، بنحكي، بنبرحش شوي بالليبنيز كلتشر اللي انا وياك بنحبها كثير.
مم.
اليوم بدنا نحكي عن شخص،
مم.
عن موضوع كثير مهم
مم.
يلي هو شارل مالك.
مم.
شو بنعرف عن شارل مالك وشو اهميته مش بس للبنان، للعالم؟
مم.
English is fine.
Charles Malik, to me, embodies the spirit of the successful Lebanese migrant throughout the world. He was, of course, a child genius. Interestingly enough, تعلم هو بمدرسة بشمزين, which is the school that my grandfather founded in Bishmazin in the 1920s. So it has a great connection with me personally and with my family. And Charles Malik, of course, went on to be our ambassador to the US, to the UN, and to write the Declaration of Human Rights in the United Nations with none other than Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of the president. So he is someone that we're extremely proud of. I have named a literary award at the WLCU after him. We call it the Dr. Charles Malik Literary Award. It's an essay of 3,000 words. Can be written by anyone of any nationality around the world, as long as it's not overtly political or religious. But it can be up to 3,000 words, which is يعني شي 10 صفحات أو less. And you can write about any topic, economics, history,
Any
culture. We like it in English because the judges can only read in English. There are 5 judges and they've been appointed. And we give out a $2,500 US first prize, and we give it in cash, and we give a beautiful Mont Blanc pen in original form to the winner, and the second prize getter also gets cash and a Mont Blanc pen. So they're very beautiful prizes, and it's a literary award that I would like to think has been designed to foster the Lebanese spirit, and for people other than us, but including us, in both Lebanon and the diaspora, to talk about us.
So let's put it into a box and do a call to action. We're asking everyone around the world, Lebanon, Australia, and anywhere around the world, to write in English an essay of 10 pages or less.
Yes.
What's the deadline?
The deadline this year has been extended beyond the 22nd of November to the last week of November. But every year there will be a new essay. And these prizes are awarded annually by the WLCU Sydney. If you type in WLCU Sydney as a website, you will see that there's a category where the Dr. Charles Malik Award has its own place, and you can see the rules, and the rules are pretty simple, and then you can submit online and we will receive it and judge it, and hopefully we can award many prizes this year and in years to come.
Quick overview, even though we've done it before, for people to put themselves into perspective again. What is the role of the WLCU?
The role of the WLCU is to foster the Lebanese spirit and to propagate it throughout the world amongst Lebanese citizens and the diaspora. For me, the spirit of Lebanon is contained in many different ways, but food, as you are well aware, and drink are something we're famous for. So a lot of the time, all of our functions contain exquisite Lebanese meals, often with a theme.
شارل مالك أخذ حقه.
أنا بقول شارل مالك ما أخذ حقه، لأنه شارل مالك is a genuine Lebanese world identity. ما عنا كتير that were world identities. عنا كتير شاطرين, but we didn't celebrate them enough in my view, right? So Charles Malik was a sensation when he went to Harvard, and when he became a professor there. And أنا برأيي لازم نعمل له من أهميته أكتر بكتير. He also wrote the Constitution for the World Lebanese Cultural Union. Right. And if you look at the original version of the Constitution of the WLCU, you will see that it's written in a United Nations document style that's very interesting, legalistic, elegant. So, of course, the new version is a bit different. It was written by Steve Stanton, who's also a great and brilliant barrister. But the body of the document and the spirit of that document is still there when I read it. Charles Malik, I think, deserves accolades beyond anything we've done. He is truly a genuine world identity. What he contributed to the human race in the world is undeniable. He by simply carrying on as a brilliant Lebanese in the United Nations, by simply doing what he did, he, I think, emboldened to a new level the name of Lebanon everywhere in the world. And for me, that's very special.
Behind you, we all can see 22nd of November, a very special date for all of us, definitely. شو هو الاستقلال لك؟
أنا بقول استقلال أي بلد هو شيء كتير مهم. To be free. I mean, you read in Gibran what it's like to be free. You read in Wordsworth what it's like to be free. You read in Shakespeare what it's like to be free. And we in 1943 became free. And well, to be honest, what the French gave us was also a great contribution towards our freedom and how we formulated our parliament. And maybe also we should celebrate the fact that we still have relatively democratic and free elections in Lebanon. That's a legacy that we can be proud of. Not many countries in the world actually have that, probably only really the first world countries. So I would say there's so much about Lebanon to me that is special. And I think for many people in the world, when they come to see our country in its truest form, in its essence, they will be able to celebrate its food, its culture, its freedom, its abilities, its notable people with us. I was talking with a friend of mine not long ago who said to me, you know, what literary contribution did the Lebanese make? And of course he only mentioned Khalil Gibran. But actually, if you think of the last 20 great authors that influenced the modern Arab world, probably 18 of them are Lebanese. Something like that. Of course, that's a matter of opinion, and I'm giving an opinion, but it'll be a number like that. There's, of course, Najib Mahfouz from Egypt, who was very special. And there's Nizar Qabbani from Syria, but he studied in Lebanon, so we probably could claim him even, but we'll give him to Syria. They need one. And he was a great, great author. And I think the others, Aliyah Abu Madi, Khayil Naimi, Khalil Gibran, Lies Abu Shabki, and so on, they're all Lebanese.
And so, the last one is Amin Ma'louf now.
That's right. And so that's right. And so, you know, when you think about it, the literary influence that is lasting in Arabic, in the Arab world, is incredibly from the smallest country in the Arab world, Lebanon.
Indeed. So back to Charles Malik, putting into perspective and reminding people while we're having this video to remember an icon, a world icon, and to ask people to participate more in that, we call it competition.
Literary competition,
So again, what would you think people need to write about?
Right. In the past, we've only run it for 1 year. I want this to become a competition that runs forever. And I want the prize money to increase with every year that we do it. It is my truest wish. By the way, I've just authorized at the WLCU a contribution that will go towards writing the most authoritative biography on Professor Charles Malik, on Dr. Charles Malik. And the reason for that is there hasn't been, believe it or not, an authoritative biography researched and written about probably one of the most iconic public figures that the Lebanon has produced. So I thought that given that the WLCU Constitution was written by him and that he's greatly admired by me and many others, that we would commit a sum of money to several PhD students, including the great Dr. Habib Malik, the son of Dr. Charles, to preside over and write a new researched authoritative book biography on Charles Malik. That's something I'm very proud of, and I can't wait. It'll take a few years to do, but I can't wait till it comes out, because this is one of our greatest sons, and we must celebrate him in full.
So the literature competition happening now, what would you suggest for people?
Yes, for the literature competition, lots of people write about their mother's cooking. Lots of people write about the feelings they have when they visited. You can write historically about Lebanon in any way you like, the influence of the Romans, the influence of the French, the visits of the Ottomans. You can talk about Lebanon through the ages. You can talk actually about your experiences with Lebanese food in the diaspora. Some people talked about the feelings they had when they entered their parents' home back in Lebanon and their grandparents' home. So you can write about economics. There was an essay written on the economics of Lebanon versus the economics of the world. So all of these are judged using the criteria that are set out, and they're judged impartially. So we don't favour one or the other. I just don't want this to become either a political or a religious platform for any group. So it's not intended to be that. Although I think if you wanted to write some degree of religion or politics, some degree that is really essential to the essence of the essay, that's fine. But I think at the end we'd like to steer away from that and concentrate on all those great things that unite us. Many people have written about food and drink. Some people have written about wine. Some people have written about even more esoteric subjects like, you know, the trees of Lebanon or the cedars, or perhaps David Isaac would like to write about the juniper trees that make the gin in Lebanon. You know, any of those topics can be very interesting and exciting for the essay to be successful.
So today we remember an icon, and we ask people to dig into him more and more, and to remember him more and more, and to mention him more and more, and hopefully your literature competition will become a yearly plan, and we'll talk about it on a yearly basis. And we'll promise everyone that on my next trip to Australia, probably you'll announce the winner definitely before, but we'll read the essay in a way or another and see how important it is to be part of that cultural thing. I love what you do, because definitely Lebanese have many empowerments, and culture is something very important. So how can we build on it more and more to prove and to show to the world that we're not a 200 years country, we're a 7,000 plus years country with lots of baggage to give.
We are an incredible rich history, which is an amalgam of 59 invading civilizations. But we gave birth to the alphabet, we gave birth to the written word, and you know what, I would say that the written word, the alphabet that was invented by our very ancestors, was perhaps the most civilizing influence the world has ever seen. Because unless you can pass your thoughts from one generation to more than the next generation, really your civilization will not last. And we have invented the mechanism by which all new words can be formulated using the same alphabet.
And everybody today scared or following the rules of the law. This has started in Lebanon as well.
The Codex Justinianus, written in 537 AD, was a most authoritative document. It was written by the greatest emperor of the East, by then still called the Roman Empire, and he needed, after 500 years of every emperor of Rome writing his own rules, he needed to unify them into one code. And for that, he needed to write it in ancient Greek, because that was the language of the scholars. It was then translated to Latin. And of course, he needed the best law school in the empire to write the Codex Justinianus, the Justinian Code. And the best law school in the empire was the law school of Beirut. And as that law was written, it created something very important in the Western Hemisphere, which has been inherited in the Western Hemisphere today, and that is the theory of the law of precedent. So what Justinian decreed is that after the laws were written, that no judge could make a judgment on a law of the empire where another judge of equal rank had made a judgment prior without having reference to that judgment. Now that's called the law of precedent, which is now entailed, embedded into all Western Hemisphere laws.
So Yinad Alik, happy
Wa
Independence
alaic.
Day of
Wa
Lebanon.
alaic. Wa alaic.
Remember this amazing day, despite everything, despite all the problems and all the wars and all the conflicts and everything. We're very proudly Lebanese, and we won't forget that. And we celebrate and remember that day for our children and the years to come.
And I would say that there is no culture that's achieved greatness and great success at the end without going through difficulty. And we will go through difficulty now, and it will pass, and we will at the end prevail.